The focus of what we're taking up in the West Kootenay Rural Teacher Education Program comes down to place-conscious pedagogies. It lends itself to attending to each context we work in because place-conscious pedagogy, the learning and the content, comes from the place that you're in.
It's really important to us that our students have opportunities to be in situ. They can see practicing teachers with students, and that they can also have many opportunities to go and practice, not just in their practicums, but right from the beginning of their time with us.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to join WECTEP, was because it's really hands-on. Right from the beginning in the fall, we went up to Nakusp in these tiny little schools, and we were placed with our new colleagues and got to know the students.
For the WECTEPers being here, I think they were open to so much. We built a community right off the bat. So I learned a lot from them and with them, a lot of their feedback, but we had a lot of hands-on classes where they were trying different ideas and different strategies. And then when we brought them into the school on 3 different occasions, that learning was really rich.
The fact that they're coming in with this enthusiasm, not only for the profession, but for their content knowledge and for students, it sort of lifts everybody's energy up.
We've got to see so many communities and go out to so many different schools, everywhere from New Denver to Fruitvale, Roslyn. So getting to know the communities in those places was really special.
It's really learning how to teach in rural schools. I know that's a big focus for WECTEP because I am planning to teach in rural schools for some time at least. So it's nice to actually get that learning right from the start and see how these smaller schools work with smaller classes and really being able to use the place that you're in, using that place-conscious learning and just really making the best use out of the place you're teaching in.
Place-conscious learning or in situ teaching and learning are inherently experiential. We're learning through doing. And for many of the teacher candidates, the children that we work with, the teachers that we work with, theory is often something that sits up here versus lives in our lives and our places. And so what's powerful about this place-conscious pedagogy work is that it really is about experiencing and learning and doing. It's action-oriented, but it's also reverential to say what's happened here before us, what's important in this place, what's the history that we don't see or don't know, and how can we learn it? And that really is, for me, also what mindfulness is. We're being mindful not just of ourselves and not just of each other, but of the histories and the perspectives that our places offer us and that need to be attended to.
The big shift in place-conscious learning is looking at the curriculum. And instead of the curriculum kind of being the guide as a starting point, it's now looking at your place and saying, what is unique in my place? Where are the community partnerships that could take place? And then how might I deliver the curriculum through these hands-on collaborative partnership opportunities? And for our 4 schools, the shift has been, let's move away from needing to do all the same teaching experience opportunities for kids and say, all right, Greenwood, you're on the Kettle Valley Trail, you have this great bike opportunity. How about we take the curriculum and we learn it through those bike experiences? Midway, you have a fantastic arrangement with the community and the garden. Let's take a lot of the primary learning through the community gardens.
Every community around Nelson is so different and so unique, and I think you really feel that when you arrive in Silverton or you get to Slocan. I think it's a great thing for WECTEPers to be able to visit those smaller communities outside of Nelson to get an idea of a true rural experience.
In WECTEP, we are a K-12 program, and we integrate a lot of our subjects together that we teach, but we also ensure that many of our courses have our candidates from K-12 meeting together. What that does then is it allows for those conversations and those deeper understandings to develop, not just about your content, but also that whole continuum.
Getting to know the people in your cohort. Even during practicum, now that we've spent a couple months apart, it's pretty powerful that we're still able to kind of connect after all of this time, just to either bounce ideas or to touch base. If you're lucky to be in the same school with a couple people from the program, you can touch base on a day-to-day basis, but it's also been really incredible that we've had all this time before starting practicum to build a good rapport with people in the program, but then to be able to touch base and connect throughout.
We are a real education program, and students don't always know where they're going to end up teaching.
Our school is a K-10 school with an outdoor education focus. Our school is in this amazing location where the Slocan Lake and the Slocan River meet, and we've got the Valhalla Mountains. There's rock climbing at the end of the road. So outdoor learning and learning about where you are and community and your environment is definitely key.
I have really grown to love the one-room school. It has its challenges for sure, but I really like the learning that happens within the ages of students, and for the younger students, they really get that modeling from the older students. And there's lots of things that I just don't have to teach them because they see it and they want to do it. And I also feel like it really brings out something special in the older kids because they get that care of an understanding of like, oh, this person is smaller and they need help.
My big focus is I have a grade 4-5 split, and a co-teacher, Tony Martini, is a grade 1 class. And we've tried to make use of our green spaces around us, whether if it's in when we have grass or when we have snow.
Well, in the winter we made sleds, so we were learning about like friction and how it would work basically.
I have a background in working with Indigenous communities and education in that area. So continuing to work on that and bring that into my teaching practice was very important to me. And I had a fantastic opportunity to do that in this group with my mentor teacher, Rochelle Johnston, and our learning resource teacher in New Denver, Kristen Kipke. The three of us collaborated to work on how to engage our 7, 8, and grade 9, 10 students in Indigenous education.
We were very fortunate that we have many examples of co-teaching going on in our courses where instructors share a load and work collaboratively together, and just to be able to model that for our teacher candidates is so valuable.
The Kootenays has the most diverse school setups. In the public school and private, there is a lot of diversity in how schools are and how they meet the needs of their community. And so I think it is really special for the WECTEP students to be able to see a lot of that, get to see the many different ways that schools can be in the world.
We're so fortunate in the WECTEP program because we have these very strong connections with our local districts and other programs in the area. So for example, even in the first week of our coursework, we had several examples of place-conscious learning with the master's program that UBC is running here in Nelson. And each of the master's candidates was asked to go on a place-conscious learning experience with members of our cohort in WECTEP.
Some of those concepts we've been learning or exploring together across those two groups as co-learners. Concepts like re-inhabitation or decolonization or refiguring presences. These are really powerful constructs to both attend to but rethink and reframe the ways that we see the world and we can be in the world that honor the places that we're in and the people that we're learning with.
So the first activity we did with the WECTEP students, we went down to the Columbia River in Sunningdale. It's a suburb of Trail. And right there you can see the United States, you can see Tekcominco, the big industry. Just up the river there's multiple dams. We tried to not look at all the external industry parts of things, and we tried to bring it right back into place. And the goal of that was to love the place before you can change it.
For the WECTEPers, I took them on the Kootenay Columbia Trail, which goes all the way to the ridge so you overlook Roslyn, Trail, and Warfield. And along that trail, there's a huge diversity of different plants, trees, and then there's also the aspect of mining relics and the path that was made by animals originally and used by the miners. So this is a really rich part of the town where we can bring children and people when they visit, and it can go over the whole history of the area.
There's strong emphasis on just the environment, being outside, enjoying life, and being healthy, which is really fantastic.
I want teacher candidates at my school because it improves the teaching here. Like it just does, because of the collaboration that goes on, because teachers are thinking and reflecting more on what they're doing because they're going to be engaging with teacher candidates.
What we've really been exploring together, working with the renewed curriculum in partnership with our local school districts and our teachers, is that place matters. And our learning matters in tangible ways by attending to where we are and how we are together and what emerges from the places that we're in. And when we really look at the politics of the place and the sociology of the place, the history of the place, the geographic ways of knowing that have shaped how life has evolved and emerged and originally was grounded for our Indigenous peoples, that really offers us meaningful learning that shapes and nurtures learning in ever emerging and yet deeply logical and disciplinary ways. This is the work that I'm so proud of here, and we couldn't do it by ourselves. It's because we're working in partnership with community that we derive understandings and knowing in ways that are respectful and reverent and responsible.